And on September 5th, 1881, Jesse James was 34 years old.
Can't believe I'm sitting with none other than Jesse James. Many's the night I stayed up, my eyes open, my mouth open, just reading about your escapades. They're all lies, you know.
Hey guys, I'm Kevin.
I'm Jake.
And this is Movie Matters. We are here talking about the assassination... It's a mouthful. The assassination...
It's a long title.
Jesus, let me try that again. The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. From 2007, directed by Andrew Dominik, Brad Pitt, Casey Affleck. Great cast. Jake, you've never seen this movie. I've seen this movie only once. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I loved it. Like we talked about, I think in the first episode of our Western series, like I love like the Old West. So like, this is the only like semi nonfiction movie that we're watching this month. So yeah, I read the entire Wikipedia page on Jesse James to prep for watching the movie.
Good.
And I ended up buying a biography too.
Really?
Read at some point.
Damn.
But I mean, he's arguably the most famous outlaw from like the Wild West period. I think everyone knows at least his name and that he was like, an outlaw in the Old West, if not more than that. So yeah, it was cool to see this movie, even though it's a fictionalization kind of real events, but from what I understand, it's pretty damn close to like what actually happened.
Yeah. I read that let me see where I have it. Basically the family from Jesse James all say that this is the most accurate depiction ever.
Yeah, like a lot of historians have also said that this is the most realistic depiction of him.
Yeah.
Primarily because a lot of the contemporary pieces and books written about him made up almost everything. There was this myth that he was a Robin Hood figure that was stealing from the rich and giving away his money, which was completely incorrect. And a lot of the media kind of toned down the violence and the brutality of the violence that him and his gang perpetrated against their various victims. But despite the reality, he was not only probably the most famous person of his time, but probably one of the most beloved also, which is kind of wild. He was immensely popular amongst the public, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I read that he owes a great deal of his fame due to John Newman Edwards, the editor of the Kansas City Times. He was a former Confederate officer turned journalist that published multiple pro-Jesse James editorials, stories, and letters claiming to have been written by Jesse James. In actuality, historians debate whether James had anything to do with these letters or whether they were all Edwards' work. So that's where he was the one that pushed the myth of that Robin Hood-like persona for Jesse James, even though that was, there was no evidence of him giving any money away. And that's interesting. And how he was immortalized. So
yeah, and the other big component that's like not explicitly addressed in the movie, because this is basically the end of his career and his life, obviously. But like early on in his career, a lot of his motivation was actually kind of like revenge for the Civil War, and like that's what like his gang was kind of motivated by, and then it kind of just grew into, I think, robbing, to get money.
Yeah.
But like a lot of the initial targets were like union related, like banks and like union, like cargo being transferred and by rail and stuff like that. So, yeah, interesting. And also I think why like so many people, particularly in the South, were like very fond of him. It was kind of like this, pro-Confederacy, like bandit out there, kind of like causing havoc for the Yankees or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and also really important part is how much the state of Missouri actually protected him, because this is well before like the creation of the FBI or any kind of like federal law enforcement. So each state was kind of its own jurisdiction, and so they would go commit the crimes and run back to Missouri and kind of hide out. And because of the pro-Confederacy like sentiment in Missouri at the time, they kind of just like didn't do anything about it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Then obviously we'll see in the movie, that eventually a governor was elected that was very anti Jesse James. And the script kind of flipped on him.
Yeah.
For most of his career, he was kind of just free to come and go as often as he wanted, from the state. So,
damn. Yeah, it's funny because like this movie, the title is, I mean, we all know Jesse James is dead, but the title is a spoiler and spoils the end. Like, it's coming. But I think Andrew Dominik does a great job of building tension in this movie, and like paranoia with the characters, and the acting is so good in this movie. To be honest, I mean, it's a long movie. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's a little slow for me, but it's a very good movie. The direction's great. The acting's great. The cinematography's great. The costume design, the production design, the editing, like everything about it is so good. And it's just a little slow for me. So, and what's funny is I read that, early on, Andrew Dominik battled with Warner Brothers, the distributing studio, over the editing. Warner Brothers didn't want the movie's length to be what it was, and they wanted more action. They wanted it to be more of an action-packed Western. And Dominik specifically wanted to examine the relationship between Jesse James and Robert Ford, and how his admirer eventually becomes his assassin, which is pretty crazy. And in the end, Warner Brothers decided to stick with Dominik's vision because some would say because Brad Pitt was a producer on the film, and Brad Pitt was like, "Hey, I give my faith in Andrew Dominik, and I think this is the way we need to go." And the studio obviously had more faith in Brad Pitt over Andrew Dominik, being a very, not as well known director, and he also didn't have final cut in his contract, so they could have been like, "Fuck you, we're gonna dice this up." But they obviously have a good relationship with Brad Pitt. So I thought that was super interesting.
Funny, like, side note, in Pitt's contract, he actually had a line that they could not change the title of the film, which is
really
pretty funny. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
So, like, in order for him to, like, do the movie, they could not change the title, which I thought that's kind of funny. But also, I think evident that, like, he had faith in this vision.
Yeah. The original cut of the movie was almost 4 hours long.
Yeah, I read that.
And Yeah, it was edited down to 240, like I mentioned, and that was at the studio's request. Warner Brothers again wanted to trim it down. So and Ridley Scott is a producer on this too. So they at one point Brad Pitt and Ridley Scott put together their own cut, and when it tested poorly, they went back to Andrew Dominik's cut, which is funny. And it played at the Venice Film Festival. And it's like, I wonder where that cut is in the world. I'm always curious when we read about this, like, we did Cobra from the 80s and that movie had like a longer cut, and it'd just be interesting to see this. And I don't know, have you seen any of other Andrew Dominik's other work by chance?
No.
You've never seen Killing Me Softly?
No.
That's another Brad Pitt movie.
Yeah, I know what it is. I've never seen it though.
I've seen it once and I remember being like, that was super solid.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, and I mentioned this to you like right before the trailer ended and we were watching it. Like this movie, like I'd seen this movie only once, and I love the soundtrack. Nick Cave does an incredible job with the soundtrack, and Jake would help me make like little student films, we'll call them, like fun little side projects. And we made this movie and I used the soundtrack because I was super into it at the time. And it's like, it's such a good emotional soundtrack, and it's very fitting for this movie. I think Nick Cave is awesome. He does great musical work. And what's crazy is his score was written prior to the movie even being shot.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But Andrew Dominik also made the movie Blonde with Ana de Armas about Marilyn Monroe. I watched it. It was on Netflix. I didn't think it was that great. It doesn't have a great review on or rating on IMDb, but he hasn't made a ton of movies. I mean, this movie didn't make money at the box office. I mean, it did have, and I was thinking about it prior to jumping on this podcast. I was like, I'm curious what the budget was for this movie. And it was $30 million, which is very reasonable.
Yeah, it's not
that bad. Yeah, very reasonable. It only made $15 million at the box office. I'm sure, I mean, it's still probably a loss to this day with sales and stuff like that, but that's not horrible. And the reason I bring that up is like this movie, The Bride, that Maggie Gyllenhaal directed, like it looks pretty solid. It's Christian Bale and like I'll see it, but it's like a movie I'll stream. And I looked at the budget for that movie, $80 million. And it's like one of the biggest flops of the year so far. And it's like, how in God's name is that going to make money? That would, because so if people don't know this, a movie usually it has its budget is 80 million. That does not include marketing costs. So let's say
they almost never disclose what the marketing costs are.
Let's say there's 20. Let's say it's 100 million. Let's just use a flat number. Okay, the movie has to pay half of its proceeds, half of its earnings to the movie theaters. So in that case, say it's 100 million, the movie would have to make $200 million to break even. A movie like that is not going to make $200 million.
Yeah, no.
And granted, it's a original movie with, unoriginal IP, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But it's just like, if I was a studio head, I would not make that. If I was at Netflix, sure, I'd be like, yeah, it's going to make its money back in viewings, but not at the box office. A movie like that, yeah, it's got star power, Christian Bale, but like he, in a sense, is not. He's only good. Like if you look at his other movies from Christian Bale, he's not like a star power. He's just an amazing actor.
Yeah, right.
So it's just interesting. And that's kind of what this movie is a little bit. It's like Brad Pitt, like I said, I've always thought Brad Pitt is very underrated. As funny as it sounds, because he's a fucking movie star and he's so great. And it's, people probably laugh at me when I say that. I mean, his movie F1, which was incredible in my opinion, made a lot of money at the box office and it was original. But like, I think so he is not I don't want to say like he goes for straight movie star movies like Tom Cruise, for example. He goes for quality movies, I think. And that's what sets him apart. And in my opinion, that's what makes him underrated. That's why I say that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, and he's also like, some of his best roles have actually been like supporting roles, you know, which is like kind of funny. Like
Ocean's 11. Yeah.
Fight
Jinx.
Club.
Burn After Reading.
Burn After Reading. Yeah. So like, yeah, it's weird. That,
Seven.
like, Seven. Like he's not, I mean, he is for sure. Like
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
There's a lot if you think about it.
There are a lot.
Snatch.
Yes.
There's so many. It's a great point.
But yeah, I mean, it's he's certainly deserving to be a leading actor.
Oh, 100%.
But like, I mean, he's just so good at doing that like supporting role and like just absolutely killing it. And like, you can even argue that this movie's not really about Jesse James. It's about Robert Ford.
Yeah.
You know, in a lot of ways.
100%. I would argue that.
The same situation.
That is funny.
But
yeah. I was just thinking of another movie that's coming up, 12 Monkeys. He's like the GOAT supporting actor,
yeah.
if you think about it.
Yeah.
But
Well, and like he never really did the like big action blockbuster thing the way that other like top billed, you know, actors, like you said, like Tom Cruise, you know, has his whole own action franchise that's been running for like 20 years, you know, and like stuff like that. Like, I mean, Pitt's done action movies for sure.
Yeah.
But like that's not his like bread and butter. Like his bread and butter are these like awesome like supporting roles that he just absolutely like destroys, you know.
yeah, it's interesting. Maybe that's why he's underrated, because he's not.
Yeah, I think it's arguable that that's probably the reason.
I mean, like Moneyball, amazing movie.
Yeah,
and it's, you know, but like
he's the lead in Moneyball. I think it's
yeah.
I
I think that's just like what I mean by that is it's like it's not your typical movie of.
That's
I don't
not
know. You know what I mean?
Normal summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's such a good movie. And like, but like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, that's a blockbuster movie. And I think that movie fucking sucks. I've only seen it once and it was a long time ago. And like, I have no interest in watching it ever again. But like, that's kind of like, I don't know. That's kind of my point. And like, there's a movie he did called Ad Astra, which is like such a beautifully shot movie and so well done. And I thought it was a little boring, but I need to rewatch it because it looks incredible. But like, that's the kind of movies he does. Like Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
Like movies like that. It's just interesting. And this is a movie that's like that. He's had a very interesting career where he has that niche of either supporting actor or like the lead actor in a very good drama. Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah, I remember watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in the movie theater, and I was just like, he's gonna win that Oscar for this. He's incredible in this movie, and sure enough, he did. I just remember that. I'll never forget that.
Yeah. Before we jump into like the actual movie, now that we're 20 minutes in and still haven't talked about it, that I do think, and I was thinking about this actually the whole time I was watching the movie, like we've been like kind of shitting on everything that this movie is recently. Like, this is a biopic, and like we've been shitting on biopics for like
I always shit on biopics. Yeah.
This is a long movie, and we've been shitting on long movies for like the entire podcast, basically.
That is really funny you say that. Yeah.
And there was a third one too. The stakes. Like, you know, I can't remember if we talked about this in the Mad Max episode or if we talked about it outside of recording, but we talked about the prequel.
We did.
I can't even remember
pretty
what
Furiosa.
Yeah, Furiosa.
Yeah.
And how like there's no stakes in that movie because you know exactly how it's gonna end.
Yeah.
But like I think the reason why this movie is so good is because it does all of those things perfectly.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
what the end of this movie is going to be, but it still executes it flawlessly. It's long, but
it is long.
It captivates you.
Yes.
I mean, there's a couple parts that are a little slow, but like for the most part, you are like really invested in the characters and you want to see what's going to happen, because in the back of your head, you know that Jesse James is going to get shot by Robert Ford, and you're just waiting for it to happen.
Pun intended.
Yes.
The back of your head. He gets shot in the back of the head if you haven't watched the movie. Which, watch the movie. What are you doing?
And then the biopic thing, like, this is how you do a biopic.
Yeah.
You pick one part of the guy's life that's really important, and you do it about that.
Yeah, I always shit on biopics. That's so funny. I literally texted my buddy the other day, being like, "Yo, what the fuck are with all these biopics, man? I'm sick of this shit." Just like I vent about that all the time. So that's funny you say that, and I just realized that. Like you made me realize that. That's so funny.
No, I was like laughing to myself. Like after I finished the movie, I was like, "This is literally everything we've said that we hate." For like the entire, like almost the entire time we've been doing this show, but it's like this is how you do all of those things correctly.
Agreed.
You know?
Agreed.
It's just
But
like, people don't do those individual elements well a lot, so I think it's particularly important that this movie does all of them very well.
But it also depends from me, and this might sound like, I mean, this is opinionated for sure. I mean, all this is fucking opinionated. But I mean, I'm a Brad Pitt fan, so I'll see pretty much anything he does. And also, like, a huge thing for me is Roger Deakins. He did the cinematography of this movie. This movie is fucking beautiful. And he is
invented lenses for this movie, which is like so wild.
I didn't know that. That's cool. He is most proud of that shot with the train coming down, which is incredible, and is the thumbnail. It's going to be the thumbnail for this video because it's so sick. And I should get like a poster of that on my wall because it's so cool. He is my favorite cinematographer. I will watch pretty much anything he does. He is the master of light. Like, I mean, just go look at his filmography. Deakins. Did you know he shot Skyfall?
No, but it makes sense.
Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
He shot No Country for Old Men. He did a lot of work with the Coen brothers. Shot most of their films. Coen brother. So it's funny because the dude has been nominated for all kinds of awards and Oscars. And this movie came out in 2007. For the Oscars, he was nominated for this and for No Country for Old Men and lost. He was nominated for 2 movies. And I don't think that's the first time.
5 nominees. That sucks.
I don't think that's the first time it's happened either.
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up.
To him
but
specifically, or
yes, I'm pretty sure there's another time he was nominated for 2 Oscars.
Unreal.
And he lost to There Will Be Blood, Robert Elswit, which is understandable, but like it's funny because we're going to be doing No Country for Old Men next week. And I'm going to be mentioning that, I'm sure, again, of what it was nominated for. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, that whole train scene is so awesome. And what's funny is I'm just realizing this. It's different. It's like the inverse of Treasure of Sierra Madre, in a sense. Mm-hmm. Like with the train sequence. But like that, God, the cinematography and the lighting is so damn good in that scene. And so this movie, where'd you watch it?
In my living room.
Like, how did you watch it? Like Amazon Prime, or like did you rent it? Did you buy it? What'd you do?
I rented it on Prime.
Okay, so I have the Blu-ray of this, and I'm gonna kind of get nerdy here as well. But for certain movies, like Blu-ray usually and 4K Blu-ray does high definition audio. Like if you have Netflix and you have a high definition TV and you have like a soundbar that does Atmos, or if you have a receiver that decodes specific audio codecs, you get higher quality audio. It's like, the movie's high def, the audio can also be high def. This movie on the Blu-ray has standard 5.1 Dolby surround sound. It is not high def surround sound. I thought the surround sound in this movie and the sound design of this movie was awesome. I thought it was so great. The surround sound on it, like there's a scene where it's raining and it sounded so good. All the gunshots were almost like, I almost jumped at every gunshot. They were so like loud and like accurate. It felt like.
Also, yeah, the gunshots in this movie are like some of the most realistic I've like ever seen in movies.
Yeah.
Heard in movies.
Besides Heat, which
Besides
we're getting
Heat.
to.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. I like I said, I streamed it, and I thought the quality of the picture and the sound was also excellent.
Yeah, agreed.
I can't believe this movie's not on 4K Blu-ray, but
It should be on Criterion. That's what it should be.
Yeah.
Maybe eventually. Maybe eventually. So I just quickly looked at his nominations for cinematography, and that was the only year he had
Two.
two. But it's like,
I'm sure it's happened to others.
yeah, it's like every other year. Like there was a time where he was nominated in, like, this is crazy. So he's not, his first nomination was for Shawshank in 95. Second nomination is for Fargo in 97. Then he did Kundun in 98, which I've never seen. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou in 2001.
God,
The Man,
that's good.
yep, The Man Who Wasn't There, which is on my, I want to watch that. It's another Coen Brothers movie. 2002. Then 2008 was nominated for this and No Country for Old Men. 2009 was nominated for The Reader. 2011 True Grit, another Coen Brothers movie. 2013 Skyfall, still has yet to win an Oscar. Then Unbroken in 2015, or excuse me, 2014 Prisoners, amazing movie. Have you seen Prisoners by Denis?
I need to see it. Yeah.
Dude, it's Denis Villeneuve, or whatever his last name is. I can pronounce it. Can't pronounce it. And I also can't talk in general because I can't say the title of this movie. Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. Okay, I did it. He was nominated in 2015 for Unbroken, 2016 for Sicario, another Denis movie that's incredible. 2018 for Blade Runner 2049, which he wins.
Yeah.
Then in 2020 he did 1917. Which he won for, and then he did Empire of Light. Basically, he's only worked with the select few of directors, like the Coen brothers, Andrew Dominik. Well, at least from the nomination.
On Dune?
No, that was Greg Fraser. He did the first two, and then the second or the third one that's coming out is by Linus Sandgren, who did like La La Land and a handful of other movies. But I'm a huge cinematography nerd. I love camera work and love Deakins. Deakins is my favorite cinematographer, period. I'm just a huge fan of him. And that was a long tangent about him. But yeah, I mean, I like, how did he not win the Oscar for this movie? Granted, There Will Be Blood is beautifully shot as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we can nerd out about some more cinematography because I read a little bit about the like lens work on like some of the establishing shots, where it's like
kind of blurry
focus and then blurs
Yeah.
out. So the director had actually like gathered a bunch of like period correct photographs, and they all have that effect. And he like posted them like in the hallway of like the production office so that they would walk past them like every day, like going, back and forth to like the offices and stuff. And he told Deakins, like, I want to recreate this effect. And originally he wanted the entire movie to be shot that way.
Jesus.
And Warner Brothers was like, fuck no.
Yeah, makes sense.
So he was like, okay. So Deakins like spent a bunch of time trying to figure out how to get that like super like tight focus, and then get like the gradual kind of blurring out from the middle, and he settled on a like dual lens like setup for those shots, and invented like a new lens spec
Really?
to do it. And he ordered like a set and like a bunch of different like focus lengths and stuff, and the like rental house actually still keeps them on file and lends them out to people, and they're like the Deacon's lenses.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a master. He's a master of the craft. Like, an absolute idol of mine. Like, he's so good. He's such an interesting guy, too, with his white hair, and he's just interesting. Seems he's a G. Yeah, I mean, he says that shot of the train is his, like, highest point of his career. He's like, this is incredible. But, like, dude, Skyfall, like, the cinematography in that movie is incredible.
Yeah, stellar.
Yeah, I mean, the whole, like, all the movies he shoots is amazing. And, I mean, we're going to get to Blade Runner 2049 in, like, a month or so, I think. Is that next month that we're doing sci-fi?
Sci-fi, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to that. Like, so good. And this,
I mean, the only other thing I'll touch on the cinematography is how like everything in this movie. I mean, we've talked a little bit about both, I think, on and off the podcast, how like shitty like lighting is like in the modern era, and like this movie just like is just like so impeccably and like naturally lit.
oh yeah,
It's just it's so good, and like especially in like the train scene, like that like ultra contrast between the light of the train, like the pitch black darkness of the forest, and like the lights kind of like glossing over everybody.
Yeah.
With the lights on and the guns like standing in the trees.
So
It's just
cool.
so good. It's unbelievable. And then Jesse's silhouette against the train as he's like standing on the like barricade, is like such an iconic shot.
yeah. Like I said, it's the thumbnail for this video.
Yeah, it's so good.
My buddy sent me a video saying that like cinematography sucks lately because it's like they need all these movies to be like that Netflix glow where it just like is like so colorful and bright. It's like it's I forgot exactly what the video said, but it's a great video that's just like cinematography's boring. Every movie looks the same now, and there's nothing that's really different out there.
So I've now seen multiple videos that blame it on LED lighting, which is really interesting.
Interesting.
Is like they've like all the studio like so like there's like hundreds of videos now that talk about how Drive is the last movie that was filmed under the old LA street lamps.
Yep.
And that's why the movie just has like such a sick mood. And basically like I watched a video like last week about a guy who talks about that and ties it into how like at that same time that they were switching the street lamps from the old like sodium like compound or whatever to LEDs, all the studios started adopting LEDs because it's cheaper. And a lot of LEDs have that like sterile kind of color range. So like that, I think a lot of people are starting to think that LEDs are what's sucking the life out of
Interesting.
film. But like, I mean, you can, like, you don't have to do that though. Like,
No. So
I mean, Nosferatu was lit with candles, and that movie looks incredible.
yeah. So similar, the movie Train Dreams that came out on Netflix. It's a decent movie. I liked it. It's one of those Oscar bait movies, if you will. But it's well done, I think. The cinematography in that movie is incredible. In my opinion, I think that should have won the Oscar this year. But kudos to the female first female cinematographer that just won for Sinners. Kudos to her. But Train Dreams is shot in all natural light, and the camera work in that movie is incredible. Like, it's so damn good. It's all natural light. Really impressive. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I agree. I think cinematography, it all looks the same. I don't know. It's very interesting.
Yeah, hopefully we get a little bit of a revival of like well lit
yeah.
movies.
Agreed. I think that the acting, I mean, you texted me saying, dude, this cast is stacked. And I was like, yeah, it is. It's like, and it's before a lot of these people got kind of bigger.
Yeah,
if you think about it.
I had to think about it, and I was like, holy shit, this is like probably like some of these guys' like first movie. Like, yeah, it was nuts. Like, cause like in the first scene, there's like Jeremy Renner and like, you know, obviously Casey Affleck, who I didn't even know was in the movie. I just knew Brad Pitt was in the movie, and I was
That's
like,
hilarious.
Oh my god! I was like, and then the guy who plays
Sam Rockwell.
yeah, Sam Rockwell. And then the guy who plays Dick Little is from Parks and Rec.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's where I know
Paul
him from.
Schneider.
Yeah, Paul Schneider. I was like, dude, like this movie has so many fucking people in it. I was
Yeah.
like, and Sam Rockwell was like a total surprise to me. I was like, oh my god, like, what's he
And
doing in here?
He apparently denied, like they were attempted to get him multiple times. He initially auditioned for Robert Ford and didn't get that. And they wanted him to play Charlie Ford, his brother, which he obviously ends up playing. And they kept attempting to get him multiple times until like Brad Pitt finally just like went to his house and was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, come on. Like, it's like, all right, fine. Sam Rockwell's such a great actor. He used to be underrated. He might still be a little underrated, but I think he's hilarious and he's such a good actor. Like, have you seen Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri?
No.
Oh, he won an Oscar for it. He's so good in that movie. And I just rewatched it. I hadn't seen it since the theaters. He's also really funny in a stupid movie called The Sitter with Jonah Hill, and he plays like this drug dealer, and he's kind of he's like really funny in it.
I always remember him from Galaxy Quest.
Oh yes, I had no idea you've seen that movie.
Yeah, the movie.
I love that movie. Alan Rickman, man.
Yeah.
And Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, great movie. We should do that movie. I love that movie. I love it. I have it on 4K. I've yet to watch it on 4K.
Nice.
It's sitting on my shelf. Yeah, and Jeremy Renner's really good in this. The whole sequence where Jeremy Renner comes to kill
God, that shootout is unreal. It's
yeah,
so
they're like
good.
yeah, like point blank, and then Robert Ford just boom shoots him in the back of the head. Which the violence in this movie is so aggressive in a fitting way. It's like all this tension built with like this beautiful landscape is just the violence is like earned in a sense where it's like in this beautiful world, these people are still dangerous and they want to show that. Like when Brad Pitt kills Ed Miller. When it was played by Garrett Dillahunt, who's great in this as well, where he's like on the horse and he shoots him and he falls down and then he shoots the back of his head and it just shows. I was like, oh my god, shows his head splitting open. I was like, holy crap, I forgot that scene. But like, I love that scene
in the beginning, like the train robbery.
Oh
like,
yeah, when they're hitting
the
him
conductor over the head and like
yeah,
the brutality of the violence in this movie is one essential, I think, to convey that like this isn't like the romantic, you know, like Wild West that, you know, we're kind of told was the reality. Like this is like the real deal, you know. And like really helps set the tone for who Jesse is as a person, you know, and not the mythic figure. He's like the man, you know, in this movie.
Yeah. While you're saying that, I'm trying to think of like other Westerns that are like brutally graphic in terms of like violence. And I mean, I haven't seen everything out there, but like I could like Bone Tomahawk. You ever see Bone Tomahawk?
No, we watched the one part.
Did we?
Yeah, you made me watch it.
Oh, did we watch that with Stickle?
Yeah.
Too? Yeah. That's one of our friends, and there's a brutal part in the movie where a dude gets split in half, basically.
Yeah.
And it's gross. It's very disturbing, like, and will sit with you for days.
Yeah.
But that movie's actually like really good. But that's like another movie that has like brutal violence.
Yeah. And The Hateful Eight is pretty
Yeah, I'd say so.
At least realistically, like, violent as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. I've been wanting to rewatch that. That and
it's
Django.
Tarantino, so it's, you know.
I know. He loves his aggressive violence.
You could call Django a Western, too.
I'd agree. Yeah. This is Brad Pitt's, like, famous role. Or famous. His, like, favorite role of him, of, like, all his movies, as what I read. He's like, this is one of his favorites he's ever done. And I think the acting's so good. I mean, Casey Affleck got nominated for an Oscar for this. But he did lose to Anton Chigurh. No Country for Old Men. Javier Bardem.
Okay. Yeah.
So, which again, we will be talking about next week.
Know.
Yeah. Yeah. Incredible movie. But I think he's so good in this movie.
Well, that's like Robert Downey Jr. losing the Heath Ledger, you know? It's like, I get it, you know?
I know.
Like, I really wanted Lincoln Osiris to get the Oscar.
Yeah. God, that's so crazy he was nominated for an Oscar. We got to watch that movie. Maybe that's like, I don't know, maybe it's past its prime and like we can't.
No, that movie is solid gold.
There's a lot to talk about with that movie, but it's like you almost can't say it anymore. Like that movie could not be made in today's
We'll have to
day.
do like a wild comedies month. Do that.
And then we'll get banned from
And get banned.
Spotify,
Some other
podcasts, and
wild
YouTube.
ones.
Yeah. All right. We've already said too much. Yeah. I mean, did you read this on the Wikipedia page? I mean, I read this through the IMDb page. Jesse James' wife, Z, was his cousin.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. Though I think she was a cousin by marriage. If I remember right. I had to read I read through several different things, but
I was like, oh, that's okay. And then I'm thinking about it. There's still some blood in there, dude.
No, she was the daughter of somebody that married one of his relatives, like an existing daughter, I think, was
okay.
how it worked out. Something along those lines. I don't think they were actually blood relatives.
Okay.
It's
interesting.
There's
a gray area.
Page was a little misleading. I'm pretty sure she was a relative by law, not
interesting.
Not by blood.
Let's see. Let's do a quick. She was named after Jesse's mother, Zerelda Cole James.
Oh, maybe I was wrong then.
They were first cousins. Z was the daughter of Benjamin Mims and Martha James Mims.
Okay.
Kissing cousins.
Kissing cousins.
Yeah, very interesting.
Different times, different things.
Should we end on that?
Yeah. Without having talked about any of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I what's funny is I didn't take too many notes with this movie. I didn't take any notes with this movie, really. I was just watching it, and I was a little bored, to be honest. But again, super good movie. As funny as that sounds, and I was entertained. But yeah, I mean, I think the paranoia, I really like the paranoia of, like you said, the stakes with Jesse wanting to, you don't know if he's going to kill the Ford brothers is kind of what it gets at. And the tension between that and the acting really helps with that. Sam Rockwell and Casey Affleck are so good. In their roles, and I love that tension. That's what I picked up on this viewing. Granted, I haven't seen this movie since it's probably been at least 15 to 20 years since I've seen this movie. Well, it can't be 20 years because it came out in 2007. But yeah,
Almost.
Almost. We're almost there.
Yeah, but I mean the whole relationship between Robert and Jesse is like so well done. This is where I think like I'm gonna start judging the movie as a movie, not as like a document of historical accuracy. But like, the way that Ford goes from like avid admirer to like maniacal admirer is like extremely well handled. And like how he's kind of like bullied by the group, like over time, and like kind of, alienated by them in like a lot of ways. And he has this like, I don't want to call it like a delusion of grandeur, but like he wants to be like this big name like Jesse is. And he sees the opportunity to take it almost as the villain, like rather than the hero, becoming a hero like Jesse. I know it's kind of inverse, but
Yeah, it's funny, but that's what's ironic about it too. Is like he kills this outlaw that's a bad person, and yet he gets ostracized for it, and eventually gets killed because of it. It's very interesting, and that whole portion of the movie of him and his brother's descent into like depression because of it, and what they've done is very well done as well.
Yeah.
Like the
aftermath of
the play they put on to like reenact the scene, and it's like it's such a coward move, and like it finally like catches on that it's like, like this guy's just showing what a coward he is, killing this guy.
Yeah, and like my wife watched the last like half hour with me. And when they start showing the like, play that they're like reenactment, she was like, "Oh my God, did they really do that?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
like,
crazy.
They really toured the country.
And it's
reenacting the murder of Jesse James.
Yeah, they were like trying to get some money out of it. Because I read that they didn't really get any reward money.
No, they got screwed out of reward money big time. Like I think the two arresting or the two like sheriff and the deputy that they kind of collaborated with got all the money, and the Fords were kind of like kicked to the curb.
And it's interesting that his body, Jesse James's body, was like paraded around and like put on display for profit, and like people like this one crazy rich guy wanted to buy it because he saw it as an investment opportunity, which is wild.
Put it in P.T. Barnum's circus, which is like so wild.
Yeah. What do you think of the narration?
So I don't mind it. I know that was like a point of like criticism, particularly in like the professional like critics like reviews and stuff. I think it helps add to the like historical fiction like element of the movie, or the dramatization of historical events. So
the novelty of it.
Yeah, I think it works.
I agree, and I think it's done really well. I think it's like the guy's voice who does the narration. I don't know who it is. I'm sorry, I should have looked that up, but he does a great job. And I think again, it like adds to like this is a like novel version of the retelling in a sense. I don't know.
Yes.
It's and what's funny is he says, Jesse James had this condition where he blinked a lot, and I didn't remember that when upon my first viewing, and I kept a lookout for him to be blinking in this movie, and Brad Pitt like doesn't blink at all, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I thought that was interesting. But yeah, I mean, I like I like that he. I think a cool turning point is where there's two turning points in this movie that I really like. It's when Robert Ford is at the dinner table and he like says all these interesting facts about how it's the same. I'm the youngest of this many boys. We have blue eyes. We're both 5'8", which is funny because I'm pretty sure they're both taller than that in real life. Yeah. And then he kind of gets made fun of, and Jesse is like, "Why the fuck would you want to be like me?" Blah blah blah, and like kind of rebuffs him. And then there's a turning point there where Robert Ford is like, I don't know if it's all it's cracked up to be like Jesse. And then he kind of has this grudge, and that's why he goes against him. And then Jesse offers this peace forgiveness by giving him this gun. And it's like, wow, now I feel kind of shitty for doing this. And I thought that was a very interesting, like, two bookends, if you will, for like turning points in Robert Ford's character. I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
Yeah. So this is where the history and the movie are like they line up, but the movie is taking a little bit of, I'd say, like, interpretation of events or whatever. So it is true that James and the brothers were like sitting at home and they were actually about to go leave to commit a robbery. And for whatever reason, James took his guns off, put them on the couch, and randomly walked over to a picture to start dusting it. And that's when Ford shot him in the back of the head. Now, the way the movie kind of interprets that, I think, is like Jesse is almost testing the brothers to see if they're going to kill him or not. So he gives them the opportunity.
Yes.
And like a coward, Robert takes it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I like that. That scene is great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like, the way Pitt plays it, he plays it like he's a dead man walking. Like, he knows that, like, he's gonna, that Ford's gonna shoot him, but he does it anyway,
Yeah.
He's like almost in like a trance, as he like goes like, oh, picture's dusty. Like,
picture's
like,
awful dusty.
Over there like slowly, and yeah, really.
I like that
really
scene.
Well done.
Yeah. Anything else you got?
The only other thing that I thought was interesting about him is his headstone is not where he died. They moved his body at some point.
Interesting.
But like I think there's two different headstones, but the one where his body is currently, his mother actually like had commissioned, and the epitaph reads, September 5th, 1847, murdered April 3rd, 1882 by a traitor and coward whose name is not worthy to appear here.
Damn.
Yeah. So Robert Ford was in fact a coward.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only other interesting fact, which they do state in the movie, but I thought was also just wild. The guy that shot Ford in the neck in his saloon, was very rapidly petitioned by like 7,000 people to be pardoned, and was pardoned by the government of Colorado.
Yes, that's right.
Like bonkers to me.
Yeah. Well, I also read that, the Ford brothers turned themselves in. They were sentenced to be hanged and pardoned in the same like day, basically.
Yeah. So like part of the related to that, part of the massive like anti-sentiment toward the Ford brothers was because of how quickly they were pardoned, because it basically made it look like a sitting governor had a private citizen assassinated, and people were like horrified by that.
Yeah,
So,
very interesting.
Yeah. So that's why a lot of people were like particularly shitty towards Robert in particular, but both of them.
Yeah. Well, good.
Good movie.
Right. Yeah, really good movie. Yeah, I really like that movie, albeit a bit long, but definitely worth a watch. It's again, I said this about Brad Pitt, but this movie I'd say is underrated, very underrated.
Yes, for sure. And like, it's funny because we talked about the box office, and thinking about it now, like as we're doing the show, like I don't remember this movie coming out. Like I don't remember seeing any like advertising for it or anything. So I think it got maybe a little bit of a raw deal on how it was released. But
Well, and westerns do have that negative stereotype about being boring, and this movie does somewhat fit that stereotype a little bit in terms of the length, and I mean we've talked about it in other reviews. It's like a movie that's 2 hours and 40 minutes only gets so many showings, and it's like,
yeah,
it's hard to recoup box office. And again, it's like. That's why this movie would be categorized as a risk for sure. But at 30 million, it's not horrible, like I was saying. But it's definitely a risk a studio would take, a $30 million Western. And yeah, I don't know. It's just,
with
that's
Brad
why they're
Pitt
not
in
made.
it, you would think it would have performed better, but
yeah. But that's why we did a review on it.
yeah.
So I'm glad you liked it, Jake. I mean, I know we were excited to watch it. I'm excited for next week as well with No Country
Same.
for Old Men.
This is a movie I haven't watched in like 10 plus years, so I'm
Really
excited. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm stoked to watch the Criterion 4K collection of this movie.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm very excited. So, hopefully you guys liked this review. And next week, like I said, we're coming at you hot with No Country for Old Men. So, stay tuned and enjoy.
See ya.
See you guys next week.